Broadmoor, England's most notorious high-security psychiatric hospital. This place has a long and colorful past filled with accusations of patient mistreatment, violence, death, cannibalism, destruction, protest. Pretty much anything you can imagine. But what about the stories of redemption? Yeah, about that. Unfortunately, you'll have to go somewhere else for that story. Okay, folks, we're switching things up a bit more with this one. You may have noticed I didn't have a cereal box. Well, I'm doing an institution, not a person, so we're trying something different. And quite frankly, I'm pretty tired of cereal right now, so I'm going Canada, and I'm going a couple of Timbits for breakfast today. Let's get into it. So, initially, I was gonna cover the Yorkshire Ripper for this episode, but I got thinking, why do an episode on one guy who did a long stint in the most notorious psychiatric hospital to ever exist, when the whole hospital itself is bursting with crazy amounts of potential? So, with that said, welcome to Broadmoor. First, is it a prison or a hospital?
It's a madhouse!
It used to be called a criminal lunatic asylum. Yeah, that was its actual name. Broadmoor Criminal Lunatic Asylum. You could be certified crazy for anything back in the Victorian era. Laziness, rigorous intellectual study, divorce. Here, I'll make it even easier for you. If you looked like this, not crazy. If you looked like this, absolutely fucking insane. Oh, and I just want to clear something up here real quick. Only women who initiated divorce were considered crazy. If a man wanted to divorce his wife, he wasn't considered crazy. His wife was, which was fair grounds for divorcing her. Oh, it's interesting how language changes over time. Back then, if you had learning difficulties, your doctor would just take a haul off his unfiltered cigarette and be like, "I'm sorry to tell you this, ma'am, but your son's an idiot. He's a dribbling moron." You wouldn't get offended or anything. Those were just the medical terms of the time.
Idiot!
You just thank your doctor for his prompt and accurate diagnosis, then watch as a guy dressed like a dog catcher chased around your son with a straitjacket in one hand and a syringe in the other. Anyway, madhouse, lunatic asylum, psychiatric facility, whatever you want to call it, child killer John Straffen settled that debate in the public's eye back in 1952 when he briefly escaped and immediately murdered another child.
Straffen, demented child killer, fixed the image of Broadmoor in the public mind, an asylum for the bad and the berserk.
Now they call Broadmoor a high-security psychiatric hospital. But when you see the patient roster, it's pretty easy to see why so many people think it's a prison for the criminally insane. Check out this lineup. First, we got notorious London gangster Robbie Kray. This guy and his twin brother Reggie ruled London's East End through a mixture of armed robbery, arson, protection rackets, gambling, and violence. The guy was a legit psychopath, literally. In classic gangster style, he had his own private butler at Broadmoor. A butler! Actually, now that I think about it, it's probably just some lunatic in a white bathrobe LARPing as a butler, bringing Ronnie tap water in exchange for protection or something.
And then he went like that as though he was in a posh restaurant, and up came 2 strawberry tarts. I just couldn't believe it.
Oh, well, there you have it. Next up, we got Peter Sutcliffe, aka the Yorkshire Ripper. This fucking lunatic was responsible for putting the fear of God into virtually every woman across West Yorkshire from 1975 to 80 after launching a 5-year murder spree that resulted in the deaths of 13 women. Just like in real prison, the inmates, patients, murderers, whatever you want to call them, didn't take too kindly to woman killers. While he was on his stomach being strangled to death with his own headphones cables, his life was saved by Kenneth Erskine, aka the Stockwell Strangler. With a name like that, I'm surprised he didn't push the assailant off and take over for the sheer enjoyment. Maybe he accidentally tripped over the headphone cables while he was dancing around in jubilation or something. Only in Broadmoor, man. To complete this insane trifecta, next you've got the cherry on top, Michael Peterson, aka Charles Bronson.
I'd like to shove this up your ass.
No, not him. One of England's most violent and longest serving criminals. And he's not even a murderer. He just can't stop fighting everyone and everything. He's responsible for 11 hostage takings from behind bars. We're talking governors, doctors, staff, and his own solicitor. But in his defense, he said his whole hostage-taking past was just a phase. His way of getting back while battling against the system. This is the guy who wrote the book, How to Smear Butter All Over Your Naked Body Before Getting Into a Rumble with Prison Guards for Dummies. Apparently, it makes it hard for them to grab onto you. Just look at this dude. He looks like the poster boy for Broadmoor. I'm surprised they didn't have to evict the rest of their patients just to deal with him. This guy went from prison to prison, but by the time he arrived at Broadmoor, he settled down. Just kidding. He fucking launched a rockin' 3-day rooftop protest.
We heard, hello, hello. We looked up on the roof and Charlie Bronson was throwing down all the slates and absolutely demolishing the roof.
His Wikipedia page is probably the best thing I've ever read. Originally, I was gonna paraphrase, but it's written so perfectly. You gotta hear this. At Broadmoor, Bronson attempted to strangle Gordon Robinson to death, but was prevented from doing so by the tearing of the silk tie he was using. Following this failure, Bronson became depressed. Oh man, I love that he became depressed because he unsuccessfully attempted to strangle Gordon Robinson to death. Doesn't that suck? I tried to find some background on Gordon Robinson, but all I could find were articles praising Charles Bronson for strangling him. Literally, when you search Gordon Robinson, Broadmoor, the first headline that pops up is a quote from Charlie that says, "I saw his eyes bulge as I choked life out of a monster. It felt so good." Only in Broadmoor. Still, Charlie was a different breed of crazy. He was more like Randall McMurphy from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Too crazy for the real world, but not crazy enough for Broadmoor. Just a notorious troublemaker and rebel to the very end. On another note, Tom Hardy played both of the Kray twins and Charles Bronson in 2 separate films. If you've seen them, let me know down in the comments below. Okay, but they're just 3 of Broadmoor's most notorious inmates. Throughout the hospital's 161-year history, it's been home to countless others, including Ian Ball. That's the guy who attempted to kidnap Princess Anne back in 1974. David Copeland, aka the London Nail Bomber. He killed 3 and wounded over 100 others in a bombing campaign in 1999. Graham Young, aka the Teacup Poisoner. His name pretty much speaks for itself. What can I say? The guy just loved tea and poisoning people. Finally, we got serial killer Robert Maudsley, aka Hannibal the Cannibal.
Closer.
No, not him. This guy was responsible for carrying out the most vicious assault ever to take place at Broadmoor. He and another patient barricaded themselves in a cell with the convicted child and went to work on him for 9 hours with a spoon. I can't believe I don't have my spoon. This guy is such bad news that he now lives in a specially built glass cell below Wakefield Prison, like fucking Magneto. He earned that cell after killing 2 more inmates in the same day. That's some serious Magneto level shit. So, the question remains. It's hot. That's not a question, it's a statement. The question remains, what kind of person is suited to look after people like this? I swear to God, you're not gonna believe this, but Jimmy Savile, the now disgraced TV personality / sexual deviant, was given the unofficial title of Honorary Entertainment Officer at Broadmoor. Jimmy fucking Savile. Netflix just did a documentary on him. Jimmy Savile, a British horror story.
You really are missing something. In fact, you're missing everything.
He used his celebrity status to gain access to Broadmoor, where he would entertain patients and host events. Eventually, he was appointed as the honorary chairman of a task force charged with overseeing the management of Broadmoor. He was even given his own set of keys to the hospital.
He was a DJ. What was he doing completely free in a top security mental hospital?
They literally gave this guy the keys to the madhouse. Of all the people worth strangling to death at Broadmoor, why couldn't Charlie Bronson have strangled this guy? You win some, you lose some, I guess. But in all seriousness, tortured souls live here who are in desperate need of treatment. We shouldn't let a handful of society's worst overshadow the intentions and results of the staff. This place has saved a lot of lives, and we should be grateful for that. That said, with a past like that, it's understandable that the public still sees it as an absolute fucking madhouse.
A madhouse!
So what do you think? Should Charles Bronson launch another protest and tear this place to pieces from the roof down? Or is it a good thing that cannibals and murderers aren't free to roam the British countryside? Let me know in the comments below. And don't worry, I'm definitely gonna do individual episodes for everyone I mentioned in this episode. Just let me know who you want me to cover first down in the comments below. And of course, don't forget to murder that subscribe button and hit that notification bell, because I've got new killer content dropping all the time. And if you just can't get enough, you can even head over and follow on Instagram or TikTok for even more killer content.